Thanks for the loan of your ears on today's episodes of the Smart Speakers Daily. Our daily look at various articles, the best bits from the best blogs, all to do with smart speakers and some of the tech and some of the concerns and some of the case studies as well. Oh, also, let me tell you about another daily podcast that I have, also available as a flash briefing. Get a Better Broadcast, Podcast and Video Voice. It's available for you. If you use a microphone, anything to do with work, then you may want to listen in to that. It's all about articulation and presentation and anything to do with on-mic work. So if you speak for a living, then make sure you listen to Get a Better Broadcast, Podcast and Video Voice. Let's crack on with today's article. And if you remember back on Wednesday and Thursday, we were looking at the 3 core pillars of effective at-home audio from the article from wearerockwater.com and Andrew Cohen over there. And we looked at number 1 and number 2. Number 1 was habitual and routine-based. Number 2 moved on to tell us about high content density. And now let's look at number 3, because in addition to being dense, in order to earn a place in the daily routine of the user, microcasts also need to be highly personalised, adaptive and interactive. Now, when we're talking about microcasts, we touched on this a couple of 3 days ago. We're not necessarily just talking about flash briefings. We're talking about podcasts which are particularly short because they are being consumed via a smart speaker. So it's the time, the place, the location, the amount of time you've got left to actually consume that kind of content, which gives a clue as to the production values that should be incorporated into that particular kind of content. So let me say that first sentence again. In addition to being dense, in order to earn a place in the daily routine of the user, microcasts, short podcasts, also need to be highly personalised, adaptive and interactive as well. AI, says Andrew Cohen, is becoming an increasingly central component of smart speaker products. Microcast programmers must utilise this capability to create even stickier, routine-based programming. And he says, we anticipate, we being We Are Rockwater, that more podcast studios will be acquired by companies that manufacture smart speakers. And he concludes by saying, what does all this mean for smart speakers and microcasts? With owned and operated creative capabilities, smart speaker manufacturers, Amazon, Google, Apple, could provide the type of personalised, adaptive and interactive content that will help users get the most out of these products. Now, I'm kind of thinking that maybe there's a way for those producers, the platforms, Amazon, Google and Apple, that if they developed a system that you could record a podcast, a microcast, whatever you want to call it, which is going to be heard specifically on smart speakers, so short, content-rich, daily audio, yeah, they already know, and I'm completely riffing on this, this has literally just occurred to me as I'm talking about this, if they developed a system that enabled you to personalise that in some way, because those platforms have got so much information already about the end user. They know when someone is likely to be using or listening to that content. So maybe they could have you as a presenter say, good morning, good afternoon, or with the latest this afternoon, or with the update this morning, and those kind of phrases, which they could automatically drop into the audio which you have pre-recorded. Yeah? So you're recording those different segments. You could perhaps have some segments which are particular to a certain demographic. So if you know that you're talking to someone, or a geographic as well as a demographic, if you're talking to somebody in America, for example, they would automatically choose your reference to dollars rather than pounds, or pounds rather than euro, for example. You could perhaps have it in different parts of the world. So if you know that someone's listening, or you don't know, but the system would know, that someone is listening in Australasia, for example, it could talk about summer rather than winter, that kind of thing. Yeah, you could address people, maybe not specifically by name, but you could over time build up a database of names that it would actually greet people with your voice at the start of your briefcast by name or just say hello. Or it could say hello James, or hello Agatha, or hello Manuel, or hello Miguel, or whatever it happens to be. Some of the names that you've already pre-recorded and put into the system, which is going to pluck out depending on who is listening, because it knows who is listening. That was a complete riff. Hope you understood it. I think there's a great opportunity there. What do you reckon? Do you want to join with me? Make this happen? Of course you do.
Part of the Briefcast.fm network.